Hello, so we're going to go over some conversions. So we're going to focus mostly on the metric system at the beginning part here, but you can do the same practices with the standard system as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our prefixes. So we can go from our basic unit, and when we go out, we go out to, so we get smaller, looking at deca, so that's our prefix there. And it's going to be 0.01 units. And we can go out, and the next one here would be centimeter, or cena, for like centimeters. That's 0.01 units. We go out again, we can go out to milli, and that's going to be like millimeters. So if you notice, for each time we move, we go over 1 decimal point. So when we come up to this side, we're actually going to increase by 1 decimal point. So the first one here is going to be deca. It's going to be like 10 units. And then hecto, this is 100 units. And the next one here is going to be kilo. So you got like kilograms, and that's going to be 1,000 units. So now if we look at converting these down here, if we want to go from milligram to gram, we start here at milli. We're going to go over 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So if we move this number, we start with 1,000, and we move it over 3 decimal places. That's going to leave us with 1 gram. So we just have to move that decimal place over. You can also multiply that. So if you take 1,000 and you multiply it by this unit number, you're also going to get 1 grams. So if we look down here for at the 160 centimeters, because we're just going from centimeters to meters. If you look up here, we're going from centimeters to meters, so we're moving over 1 spot. 160 centimeters. Move this over one decimal place. So you get 100. You're going to get 1,600 millimeters. So we just move that over 1 decimal point. If we look down here at the grams, we're going from 109 grams to kilograms. So if you look at our base unit here is grams, we move over 1, 2, 3 spots. So we start here, we go 1, 2, 3 spots, and that's going to give you the 0.109 kilograms. So for each spot we go over, we move the decimal point. So if we look up here at liters, now we're going to start off at liters, which would be our base unit, and we're going to milliliters, so that's down here. So we got to move it over 3 spots. So you start at 1. That decimal is at the end here. So you move it over 1, 2, 3. Add in your zeros. So it's going to be 1,000 milliliters. So if we look at kilometers, we have 14. So here we're going to be up into this range. And we want meters. So we got to move it over 1, 2, 3 spots. So you take the 14, put the decimal in, move over 1, 2, 3 spots, add in your zeros, and so you can get that 14,000 meters then. If we look at the last example here, so we have that 250 meters, so we're here, and we want kilometers, so we're going this direction. So we got to move it over 3 spots. So if it's at the end here, 1, 2, 3, so 0.250 kilometers. So now, the bottom here, we're going to look at which ones are greater. So be careful with our units. So if we look at this one here, we have 56 centimeters. So we're here. We want to put this in meters. We have to move over 1, 2 spots. So you go here, 1, 2 spots. That's going to be 0.56 meters to 6 meters. So which one is larger? It's going to be that 6 meters. Then over here, we are going from milligrams to grams. So once again, we're going from here to here. So move over 1, 2, 3 spots. So if it's at this end here, move over 1, 2, 3. So you get 7 grams versus 0.698 grams. So that 7 grams is going to be larger. Alright, so real quick, if you want to do the conversions up here, which is just put in the correct abbreviation. So we have kilograms, meters, and grams. We have milliliters, the L is capitalized, millimeter, and liters. We have kilometers, centimeters, all lowercase, and milligrams. So the next part here, these conversions are similar to what we were just doing before. So basically, remember, if you're going from milligrams to grams, you're going to be moving that over 3 spots. So if you move the decimal point over 1, 2, 3 spots, you're going to be up here at 2 grams. If you look at number 2, you're going from kilometers to meters. So you'll be moving the decimal point to the right 3 places. So you can get 104,000 meters. If you want to, you can pause this and practice these. And then I'll have the answer key up here in just a second. Alright, so here are the answers. So you can go ahead and you can double check yourself on those. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's look at some converting between the two when you have like meters per second, meters per hour. Because sometimes that can be a little tricky. Okay, so if we're given 3 centimeters per minute, and we want to convert that to meters per hour. There's a couple things we need to know first. And first, when you are doing the conversions, you want to make sure that you're canceling out what you don't want and you're leaving yourself with what you do want. So if I keep this 3 here, we got centimeters per minute. I'll use multiplication. I'm actually going to multiply this by a fraction. But the first thing I want to do is get rid of that minute and put in hours. So to cross off this minute is like this is like dividing by minutes. You want to multiply by minutes so that these two units cancel out. So we're going to have minutes up here. But then what do we want as our time unit? Well, we want hours. So I'm going to put in hours. But now, those are just the units. Those are not the numbers. We have to put the numbers in as well. And what I can do here is put for 1 hour, there's 60 minutes. So I can put 60 over 1. And now when I calculate this out, This unit will cross out this unit. So then it's just 3 times 60. So you're going to have 180 centimeters per hour. Are we completed? Not quite, because remember we want meters per hour and we're at centimeters per hour. So now we can do another multiplication step here. We want to get rid of the centimeters. So we're going to put centimeters at the bottom. And what do we want? Well, we want meters. So we're going to put meters on top. And then for every meter, there is 100 centimeters. So now when you do the multiplication, this is going to cross off with this. So then we're going to have 180 divided by 100. So you're going to get 1.8 meters per hour. Now there is another way that we can do that, or at least set it up differently. So what we can do is instead of breaking the step up, we can write it as 3 centimeters per minute. Put the multiplication sign and go to 60 minutes per 1 hour. We can do another multiplication sign and just go ahead and put right in that 1 meter over 100 centimeters. Because now this is still going to cross off over here, and this is still going to cross off here, leaving us with meters per hour as our units. And then it's just going to be 3 times 60 divided by 100. And so it's still going to leave us with that 1.8 meters per hour. So let's go ahead and let's walk through another problem. So one reason why we like using the metric system is because it does give us those nice little neat numbers, especially when we're converting, because they're all in powers of 10. But let's look and see if, like, we have a question, 5.6 yards per year, and we want to convert that to feet per day. So we keep the 5.6, and you're going to start off with that yard per year because that's our starting units. And remember, we want to have these cancel out. So when we look at yards, we want yards to be on the bottom so they cancel each other out. And what do we want to replace yards by? Well, we want to replace it by feet. So feet's going to come up on top. And then how many feet are in 1 yard? So I give you 3 feet per yard. And then we're just going to keep going, multiply out again to get rid of this year. So year's on the bottom here, so we're going to put year on the top here. And then what do we want to place year with? Well, we want to replace it with days. And then how many days are in 1 year? That's 365. So now we just have to do our math. So our math is going to look like 5.6 times 3 all over 365. So then what number does that give us? So that gives us, I rounded a little bit here, so 0.046. So now if we wanted to put that into scientific notation, we'd have to go move the decimal point over 1, 2 places. So we're going to put 4.6 times 10 negative 2. And then don't forget your units. So that's going to be feet per day. So just make sure that when you're going to set this up that you know what your starting units are, what you want to convert them to, and then set it up so that whatever you have starting on the top, you have moved to the bottom over what you want to replace it by. And then you just do, okay, how many feet are in a yard? Well, for 1 yard, there's 3 feet, so you can just add in those numbers. And then whatever is on the bottom, you want to move it to the top so that you can cancel them out. And then you want to divide it by what you want to replace it by. And then you can just do the math. So you go 5.6 times 3, divided by what's on the bottom, and you can get your answer. I hope this has helped. If you have any more questions about it, please let me know. Thank you.